So I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to the New York Browning Society. This is our April meeting. We have a fantastic speaker lined up for us today. Just wanted to say thank you for all showing your beautiful faces. I would like to thank Jennifer Silverstein for bringing our compliment from Gramercy Arts High School to join us today. It's always nice to have some fresh faces in the room. Although some of these people performed for us, I don't know if you remember, 2 months ago, and it was an excellent performance, and we look forward to them continuing to work with us in the future. It is really about passing this knowledge and this information down to the younger generations that, to me, I think is one of the most important things that we do here at the Browning Society. Now, Bob McNeil, I was trying to think on my way here how I met Bob McNeil, and it turned out that I think that I published one of his poems before I even knew who he was. And then through contacts and similar friends, and I got in contact with Bob. Bob is a character on the scene. He does a lot of amazing things for the community and the society here in New York City, encouraging youth development, encouraging poetry. He's also the host of the annual Jackie Robinson Poetry Day. And this year, I'd love to invite all of you kids or anybody to come and participate. It's going to be September 21st. At the Jackie Robinson Bandshell Theater on 145th Street. Anyone can get up. It's a beautiful amphitheater outside. The weather is typically gorgeous, and you can get up and perform any poem you'd like in front of Harlem and God. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, we are really lucky to have Bob as the host of that festival every year. He's also done a lot of work with us. And I think he's also the host of the Harlem Book Festival every year. And what's the date of that?
July 21st, if memory serves.
So July 21st, if you're in the Harlem area, on 135th Street, they close off the block between Adam Clayton and Frederick Douglass, right in front of the Schomburg Library. Now, if you never had an opportunity to go to the Schomburg Library, that's also a keystone location here in New York City that you have to check out, one of the best research libraries, especially for African American studies. And if you're interested, Langston Hughes is actually buried below the library, so you can stand and dance on his grave. But if anything else, I've done a lot of work with Bob. He's a fantastic speaker, and I made the invitation to him last year at the Jackie Robinson to come and join us. So finally, he had enough time in his schedule to fit us in. So if anything else, let's give a warm round of applause for Bob McNeil.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, James. I just want to say it's an honor to be here. James does great work for the community, and I love this particular organization and all that it does. All right, so let's start off the program. This program, in fact, is called Words of Love from the Brownings and Beyond. And essentially, we're going to do a tribute to the Brownings and other writers. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Of all the subjects at a writer's disposal, love is perhaps the most popular. Quite amazingly, in defiance to wars, famine, economic strife, and this world's necrogenic appetite, the topic of love endures. Again, I say this world literally feeds on death, and yet love inspires both professional writers and dilettantes. From school children to scholars, love is a favorite premise in verses. It is my modest belief that a poet cannot write a profound composition about love until he or she experiences the hardships of pain, rejection, and loneliness that the world offers. For it is through abject conditions writers appreciate the divine greatness of eros, philia, ludus, agape, pragma, philotia, and storge. Allow me to elucidate. Try to imagine obscene wealth, gifted with every lavish resource in the world. You would grow weary of the opulence of it all. Let's say that with the wealth, you could eat anything you want at any time you want. After a while, you would no longer appreciate the flavor or texture of the meal. The meal would become quite banal. It would be soporific indeed. It would be boring, is essentially what I'm saying. This too could be said of love. If your every desire is sated all the time, you will learn to take it for granted. Now and then, or perhaps more often than that, you hear couples use a phrase like this: he or she does not appreciate me anymore. Alas, to quote Shakespeare, there lies the rub. The aforesaid thoughts bring me to this particular point. The reason why the Brownings' poems and letters effectively express love so well is because of the fact that they endured loneliness and pain in their lives. Their connubial union was fate's gift after years of anguish. Elizabeth's illness and her father's disapproval of her romantic relationship did not impede her love for Robert. Built on affection, respect, and words, the Brownings created a relationship for the ages. In this program, I'm going to share some of the letters and poems by the Brownings. Furthermore, this recital will explore a few poems by their acolytes, their followers, another way of saying that. Not surprisingly, the work of Robert and Elizabeth influenced many writers over the years. To this day, their work still reverberates in the minds and hearts of innumerable living and loving souls. So let's hear it for the Brownings, please. Yes. Sure, help yourself. Absolutely. Okay. Ah, is that right? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Alrighty, let me iterate a few facts that the scholars in this room already know quite well. Robert Browning wrote to Elizabeth for the first time on January 10th, 1845, after reading a volume of her poems. He was a virtually unknown 32-year-old poet and playwright. She, on the other hand, was an internationally famous poet. Most disturbingly, she was an invalid and a 39-year-old spinster. Over the next 20 months, they exchanged nearly 600 letters. Am I right to say that? Elizabeth later credited their romance with saving her life. By September 1846, they were secretly married and traveled to Italy, where they lived happily for the next 15 years until her death in 1861. Right at the beginning, Robert Browning's first epistle proved his passion for Elizabeth was equivalent to a springtime forest in full bloom. Here is an excerpt from that feeling. I love your verses with all my heart, dear Miss Barrett, and this is no offhand complimentary letter that I shall write. Since the day last week when I first read your poems, I quite laugh to remember how I've been turning and turning again in my mind what I should be able to tell you of their effect upon me. For in the first flush of delight, I thought I would this once get out of my habit of purely passive enjoyment, when I do really enjoy and thoroughly justify my admiration. Perhaps even as a loyal fellow craftsman, should try and find fault and do you some little good to be proud of hereafter. But nothing comes of it all. So into me has it gone, and part of me has it become, this great living poetry of yours, not a flower of which but took root and grew. I can give a reason for my faith in once and another excellence, the fresh strange music, the affluent language, the exquisite pathos and true new brave thought. I do, as I say, love these books with all my heart, and I love you too. Yours ever faithfully, Robert Browning. Thank you. Filled with the same loving feeling, Elizabeth Barrett responded. These are just a few of the paragraphs from her letter. I thank you, dear Mr. Browning, from the bottom of my heart. You meant to give me pleasure by your letter, and even if the object had not been answered, I ought still to thank you, but it is thoroughly answered. Such a letter, from such a hand. Sympathy is dear, very dear to me, but the sympathy of a poet, and such a poet, is the quintessence of sympathy to me. Will you take back my gratitude for it? I will say that while I live to follow this divine art of poetry, in proportion to my love for it and my devotion to it, I must be a devout admirer and student of your works. This is in my heart to say to you, and I say it. And for the rest, I am proud to remain your obliged and faithful Elizabeth B. Barrett. Thank you. Here at this point in the program, we will explore some of the poems by the two great writers. This composition is called The Lady's Yes. Yes, I answered you last night. No, this morning, sir, I say. Colors seen by candlelight will not look the same by day. When the tabors played their best, lamps above and laughs below, love me sounded like a jest, fit for yes or fit for no. Call me false or call me free. Vow whatever light may shine, no man on your face shall see any grief for change on mine. Yet the sin is on us both. Time to dance is not to woo. Woo alike makes fickle troth. Scorn of me recoils on you. Learn to win a lady's faith nobly as the thing is high, bravely as for life and death, with a loyal gravity. Lead her from the festive boards, point her to the starry skies, guard her by your truthful words, pure from courtship's flatteries. By your truth she shall be true, ever true, as wives of yore. And a yes once said to you shall be yes forevermore. Thank you. That sounds promising. I don't know a guy would have a problem with those words. Agreed? Yes. Anyway, when asked to write about the subject of marriage, Robert wrote these words to Elizabeth. You will only expect a few words. What will those be? When the heart is full, it may run over, but the real fullness stays within. Words can never tell you how perfectly dear you are to me, perfectly dear to my heart and soul. I look back, and in every one point, every word and gesture, every letter, every silence, you have been entirely perfect to me. I would not change one word, one look. My hope and aim are to preserve this love, not to fall from it. Enough now, my dearest. You have given me the highest, completest proof that ever one human being gave another. I am all gratitude and all pride that my life has been so crowned by you. Thank you. Both the rich and impoverished share a common need for love. Perhaps the need serves as a bridge for humanity. And while considering this form of commonality, remember these words from Robert Browning. Take away love, and our earth is a tomb. That's true, as far as I'm concerned. Do you guys agree? Yeah, absolutely. Elizabeth Browning was the daughter of a Jamaican plantation owner, Edward Barrett. Despite the fact that her comfortable upbringing had relied on wealth from Jamaican estates that used slave labor, Elizabeth was an ardent abolitionist. Did you guys know that? Mm-hmm. Okay. She believed that slavery was a deathly curse upon the world. Her love for fairness outweighed her love for her family. Elizabeth wrote 2 laudable poems on the subject of slavery. I'm going to share a segment from one called A Curse for a Nation. Now, let me just say one thing that's not here on the script, or in the script. You're going to have to imagine that an angel inspired Elizabeth Barrett Browning to write about the horrors of slavery, okay? Basically, the angel in the poem tells her to write a curse against enslavers, all right? So bear that in mind, and this is her response, more or less, to the request, or the demand, if you will, about this particular subject. Because ye have broken your own chain with the strain of brave men climbing a nation's height, yet thence bear down with brand and thong on souls of others for this wrong, this is the curse, right. Because yourselves are standing straight in the state of freedom's foremost acolyte, yet keep calm footing all the time on writhing bond slaves for this crime, right. Because ye prosper in God's name with a claim to honor in the old world's sight, yet do the fiend's work perfectly in strangling martyrs for this lie. This is the curse, right. Ye shall watch while kings conspire round the people's smoldering fire, and warm for your part shall never dare, oh shame, to utter the thought into flame which burns at your heart. This is the curse, right. Ye shall watch while nations strive, with the bloodhounds die or survive, drop faint from their jaws, or throttle them backward to death, and only under your breath shall favor the cause. This is the curse, right. Ye shall watch while strong men draw the nets of feudal law to strangle the weak, and counting the sin for a sin, your soul shall be sadder within than the word ye shall speak. This is the curse, right. When good men are praying erect, that Christ may avenge his elect and deliver the earth, and prayers in your ears said low shall sound like the tramp of a foe that's driving you forth. This is the curse, right. When wise men give you their praise, they shall praise in the heat of the phrase as if carried too far. When ye boast your own charters kept true, ye shall blush for the things which ye do, derides what ye are. This is the curse, right. When fools cast taunts at your gate, your scorn ye shall somewhat abate, as ye look o'er the wall, for your conscience, tradition, and name explode with a deadlier blame than the worst of them all. This is the curse, right. Go wherever ill deeds shall be done. Go plant your flag in the sun beside the ill-doers and recoil from clenching the curse of God's witnessing universe with a curse of yours. This is the curse. Right. Thank you. Hold on for a second. Talking is thirsty work, so I have to do this. That line came from Stephen King. I can't take credit for it. The book Dolores Claiborne, if memory serves. Talking is thirsty work. You would agree, right? Absolutely. And you didn't provide water. Why is that, pray tell? No, okay, that's all right. There's a bar upstairs. I'll get water later. Water, not a drop to drink, right? Okay. Where were we in our program? How you guys doing? You all right? Yeah. Okay. Old English. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, huh? One of these days is going to be understood by us, right? Do you guys like Shakespeare? Really? No, I knew you wouldn't. For some reason, out of everybody here, I knew you were going to be the one person to say no. I just knew it. You just had that look, like, I don't care what you have to say, I'm going to say no. Okay, you just had that look. I used to be that kind of student, I think. I'm not sure. Do you like to tell jokes in class and stuff like that? Yeah. We have a lot in common. Yeah, we have a lot in common. We have a lot in common, right? And is that right? My personal favorite. And I always thought that I would make a good Othello. For some reason. What do you think? You think I'd be a good Othello? Yeah. Oh, great, thanks. A madman, wonderful, thank you. So you think I'm a madman, that's lovely. I think that's a compliment. Well, you know, the thing is, and of course we're going off script here for a moment, but that's okay. Othello was a good person. He was driven mad by jealousy. Okay, right. And obviously, you know, murder is never, ever considered a good thing, and we find that to be abhorrent, and we're totally against it. Okay. But in terms of being a character, he's a very interesting individual. Right, okay. We don't advocate murder here. We think murder's a horrible thing. Right? We can all agree upon that one? Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. But by the end of your program, you may have a different opinion about that. No, we'll see. We'll see how that works out for me. Huh?
I mean, like, none of that was, like, really his fault, though, because of Iago. He was, like, you know, like, misleading, like, everybody there.
You sound like a great defense attorney. You should go into law. Do you have it?
The genius behind it.
This is true.
Planned everything.
This is true. But no matter what, Othello is culpable for the crime. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just can't go up to a lawyer and say, hey, listen, or a judge for that matter, and say, hey, listen, I just killed somebody. But, you know, it wasn't really my fault. Somebody, you know, kind of motivated me to do it. Guess who's going to do the bid? There you go, the guy who committed the crime. So, yeah, trust.
Is it true that a woman has to do Othello before you can get a shot at it?
Whoa. Wait a minute now, hold on. I'm sorry?
Woman on Broadway right now doing Lear, King Lear.
Well, you see, the thing is, I'm not really concerned about which gender plays what role as long as the individual is competent. Well, God bless you. Thank you. Geez, thank you. A round of applause for this young lady. Thank you. And now I just need $1 million? I don't know if we're doing requests. I've been trying for years. All the wishbones in the world won't change my fate. Now, hold on for 1 second, folks. Okay. Give me 1 second. This paper looks superfluous.
Yeah, it's just the speaker for our luncheon.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I just don't want to leave a ring on a table because of my water. Okay, anyway. Let's get back to the program. Thank you very much for your indulgence. I appreciate that. Okay, it was a good conversation. So, thank you for your time. A round of applause for the audience. You guys are very intelligent. Thank you. Now, here's an excerpt from Robert Browning's poem, Love Among the Ruins. In 1 year, they sent 1,000,000 fighters forth, south and north. And they built their gods a brazen pillar high as the sky, yet reserved 1,000 chariots in full force. Gold, of course. O heart, O blood that freezes, blood that burns, earth's returns. For whole centuries of folly, noise, and sin shut them in. With their triumphs and their glories and the rest, love is best. Thank you. Incontrovertibly, I agree with Robert. Without love, what is life? What is life without love? Uh-oh. No, as a matter of fact, I want you to answer. What would life be without love? You don't know? Okay, do you love anyone? Your family, perhaps? Okay, hold on. Okay, what would life be like without love? Yes, you. Anyone who wants to answer. It would be bitter. Lonely, exactly. Good answers, by the way. Yeah. That's going to be my new approach to all public speaking in the future. Okay, don't worry about it. It's okay. Yes.
I would say it's in the context is that if there is no love, there's
Right.
really hatred. And
This is true. You're right.
hatred in the world, then there's nothing we can do about that. Because I feel like love outweighs hatred.
Very well stated. Very well stated. Now, hold on for a second. Thus far, do you think that the hateful people in the world will ever, at some point, embrace the love of humanity, in your opinion?
I do believe so.
You're an optimist, and that's a beautiful thing. We need more optimists in the world.
I feel like they hate because they've experienced hate in their life.
Oh,
It's been too much to the point where it's like the love is locked inside. Like you need to find a key to open that again.
very well stated. You should write this down, by the way. So you're saying that people that have experienced hate retaliate by sharing more hate. Very good. In keeping with that, hurt people want to hurt other individuals, right? Very good. You're on to a very good philosophy right there. Okay, you should be a philosophy student. What is your favorite subject? Same thing applies to you, too. You have a future in philosophy as well. Okay, so let's say when you're a fossil like me, an old guy, what would you like to have achieved, basically, at that point?
Just like making people open their eyes in different perspectives.
What is the dollar value of that after taxes? No, I'm just saying, what is a job position called? What is your goal, your career goal? A motivational speaker? Ah, yes, that's a good goal. That's a good goal. Wonderful. Okay, and you?
I would say like invest in family crop too. Like, I would like to say like the exact same thing with Fatu because
Right.
I would like to like open the world up to like new perspectives.
Lovely. We need more of that. We need more new perspectives. Get, old guys like me out of the way and get the new perspectives inside. I'm telling you, I'm all for that. No, I kid you not. So you want to be a motivational speaker as well?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
Or maybe like a lawyer, because like
Really? Like this gentleman right over here, the defense attorney for Othello. Right. Uh-huh.
because like I would like to help people.
Undoubtedly.
Them see like the different side of the world, like that there is good in the world, that there's not just hate.
Right.
Because hate and love, like they battle each other out. I feel like, as like Fatu said before, like hate it's such a strong energy, but I feel
And a negative one at that.
exactly.
Right.
I feel like everyone just has so much hate where they don't cry it out, they just hold it in. And I know from experience when you cry it out, you feel so much better.
It is cathartic.
Feel that like something was like lifted off like a huge weight. And like you feel that like you could tell others that hey, like there is love out there.
Exactly.
And that like you don't have to be closed off to the world.
Right.
To show it out to others.
You're right. You're right. And the great thing about what you're saying is that other people are hearing you, and invariably, when you share these thoughts, you will influence other individuals, and it's kind of like a domino effect. If you give positive energy as much as possible in the world, other people will say, that kind of works. Maybe I'm going to try that too. Maybe I'll try to be a nicer person, So again, if we try to be as nice to other individuals as possible, other people will be inspired and say, that could be a good thing. I think I'll try to be nice too.
Also, the words have power as well.
This is true. This is true. Right.
What you say, it could change something.
I'm sorry. I have 2 ears, but I can only hear one thing at a time. I'm limited that way.
What you say, it could change somebody's life. It could affect somebody's life.
This is true.
Good or for bad.
It can resonate. Yes, it can affect someone else. Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry? Sure, please.
Because I honestly feel like love is the strongest emotion you can feel.
Really?
Because love can make you through many other things.
Mm-hmm.
You can be in love with like the worst person in the universe, and you will always be that.
So you knew my former girlfriend? No.
You can do everything in your power to stay with that person,
Right.
even if it means to do something really bad. Because I know it's fake, but I've seen a lot of movies of somebody who's completely in love with the worst person, like you said.
Right.
And she and she basically left her own family and turned to a dark side just for him.
Okay.
And it's like I feel like love can do that to you. 'Cause, like, it can make you forget your prior knowledge.
Right. But I'm going to help you with something right now, so this way you won't speak in absolutes in the future. The thing is, the world is very subjective. So what is the worst to one individual could be the best to somebody else. I'll give you an example. Okay. So let's both look at this photograph over here, just briefly. All right. I say it's the best photograph I ever looked at in my entire life. You may look at this photograph and go, no, I don't like it at all. It's horrible. You want to know something? We're both right. That's the nature of subjective thinking. There's no such thing as universal beauty. There's no such thing as universal anything. One group of individuals will feel this is the best thing in the world. Another group of individuals say, oh no, that's the worst. So you may say that person is horrible, but to the other individual, that person is the greatest individual in the world. And the same thing applies to the Brownings. When Elizabeth said, oh, I love Robert, I want to be with Robert for the rest of my days, her father said, Robert? That guy? Are you serious? Of all the individuals out here, all the eligible bachelors out here, you want to be with Robert? So it's very subjective. You see what I'm saying? There you go. So try to keep an open mind about that and try to avoid absolutes. There you go. Right. So again, let's hear it for our young intellectuals. I think that our future is in good hands. So back to this. Without love, what is life? It's a rose bereft of scent. It's a wine in want of flavor. Elizabeth also considered the question of love's importance in her poem, The Best Thing in the World. Did you just hit him? That's not good. That's not the best thing in the world. Yeah. What's the best thing in the world? June rose by May dew impearled. Sweet south wind that means no rain. Truth, not cruel, to a friend. Pleasure, not in haste to end. Beauty, not self-decked and curled till its pride is overplain. light that never makes you wink, memory that gives no pain, love when so you're loved again. What's the best thing in the world? Something out of it, I think. Thank you. Provided an artist is successful, he or she will forever be known for a signature piece. Such a composition is a portrait of a creative person that audiences adore viewing. For Shakespeare, I think the play Romeo and Juliet is perhaps the most loved. We can all agree upon that, right? Yeah. For Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol keeps the author eternal on a perennial basis. For Elizabeth Barrett Browning, this sonnet will be remembered long after I turn to dust. By evidence of my appearance, my decomposition process is taking place right now. So true. Thanks, greatly appreciate it. No. You're doing by far better than I, trust me. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being an ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Death and love preoccupied another writer by the name of Edgar Allan Poe. Do we have any Poe fans here? No? Okay. Previous to marriage, a young Elizabeth Barrett appreciated Poe's talent. In one of her letters, she raved about the Raven. Out of pride, Edgar would show this letter to his guests at his home. No matter how morbid Poe was, love with the same earnestness as the Brownings resided in his heart. Evidence of this fact can be found in his poem, Annabel Lee. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived, whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love. I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. So that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride. In her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Thank you. Thank you. Any Emily Dickinson fans here? Wait, hold on for a second. I just read a poem about a guy losing the love of his life. The woman that just died, for God's sakes. What exactly did you find so amusing? What was so amusing about that? Oh, Annabelle Lee died. Oh, that's a real knee slapper right there. Boy, oh boy. Jeez, she just croaked. Ho, 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 ho. So much for her, huh? No, but seriously, I'm forgive my ignorance. What exactly was the amusing part? I'm going to, hold on. As a matter of fact, I'll go back to the poem and see. Maybe I missed something here. No, I don't see the chuckles there. No. Yes. I like teasing her.
Hard to laugh.
Right.
You gotta cry.
This is true.
That goes vice versa.
She doesn't realize it, but although we're separated by generations and gender, we're very much alike. I was this individual years ago. It's okay. She's all right. She's a daughter I never had. Okay, no, but seriously, what was so funny? There you go. Yeah, that Annabelle Lee, she's good for a lot of laughs, I tell you. Anyway, how you are approximately what? Are you about maybe? How old are you? How old are you? No, the other person. No, you. Seriously, just curious. 17, wonderful, great age. I was 17 about 200 years ago, more or less. Okay, I'm shaving off a few years. Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember that time very well. I enjoyed it immensely. Anyway, as we all learned, Emily Dickinson was not known for any passionate relationship in her life. We can all agree upon that, right? She wasn't. Nonetheless, her celibacy did not stop a need to write about love. Perhaps the framed portrait of Mrs. Browning in her bedroom was a source of inspiration. There is one geographical reference in this poem by Emily that may confuse some people. At one time, Tasmania was referred to as Van Diemen's Land. Did anybody know that? No, I didn't know that until I read about it myself. I had to do some research, and yes, I do a lot of research before these things. Okay. So imagine, if you will, that Emily is talking to someone, and she's saying that she would love to be with that person as soon as possible. Okay, so let's consider that while hearing the poem. Okay? If you were coming in the fall, I'd brush the summer by with half a smile and half a spurn, as housewives do a fly. If I could see you in a year, I'd wind the months in balls and put them each in separate drawers until their time befalls. If only centuries delayed, I'd count them on my hand, subtracting till my fingers dropped into Van Diemen's Land. If certain, when this life was out, that yours and mine should be, I'd toss it yonder like a rind and taste eternity. But now, all ignorant of the length of time's uncertain wing, it goads me like the goblin bee that will not state its sting. Thank you. Now, I was going to share a poem by Thomas Hardy, but you know something? I'm going to skip it, and I'll tell you why. Because the language here may be a wee bit on the old side for our audience. Well, no, there's no naughtiness. No, I would never share naughtiness. Not in public, anyway. No. It's kind of old-fashioned. Can you handle it, you think? You can? Yes, I know you can. I know you can. You guys can handle this a little bit? You sure? Okay. All right. But this is how people wrote and spoke back in the days. Okay, so we'll try it, all right? Let's see how this works out. Okay. Counted on the list of writers who influenced Thomas Hardy, you will find Charles Swinburne, Robert Browning, and Charles Darwin. Hardy will be remembered for his prose. However, here is a poetic composition by Hardy called Between Us Now. Now, you have to imagine that Hardy's saying to his love, let's just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. All right? None of that faking jacks. How do you say it today? How do you say, faking it today? What do you say today? Faking it. No. What's that now? What's the popular expression? Huh? Capping? As in, like a cap? Wait. Say it again? Capping. That's the new expression for faking it. Capping. You capping. You capping. I ain't never heard that before. You see, and I feel ancient. Now I really feel old. Okay. I remember one time we used to say faking jacks. That's no longer. No. That's old school, right? Nobody says that anymore. That's okay. Anyway, essentially, Thomas is saying, stop all that. Let's get real. Okay. Between us here and now, two thrown together who are not wont to wear life's flushest feather, who see the scenes slide past, the daytimes dimming fast, let there be truth at last, even if despair. So thoroughly and long have you now known me, so real in faith and strong have I now shown me, that nothing needs the sky further in any wise, or asks or justifies a guarded tongue. Face on to face then say, eyes mine own meeting, is your heart far away, or with mine beating? When false things are brought low, and swift things have grown slow, feigning like froth shall go, faith be for I. Thank you. Yeah, I know. No one speaks like that anymore, right? No. It's different. Yes, it's different. But it has its own beauty. It has its own poetry. It's a lovely cadence to it. You just have to take the time to find out what the words mean to truly appreciate the wording. Anyway, Robert Browning's poem entitled Rabbi Ben Ezra. Yes, you know this one. Yes, okay. Inspired John Lennon to write Grow Old With Me. Yes, oh, you know well. Yeah, you're a Lennon fan? Let's hear it for John Lennon. Come on. Now I'm in good company. I know I'm with John Lennon fans. Awesome. As always, John composed a memorable song with a lovely lyric. It is my opinion that if John never wrote songs, he would have gained worldwide renown as a poet. Are we in agreement on that one? This lyric, as far as I'm concerned, substantiates that claim. Oh, I can sing in the shower. No, I'm not going to sing it. As a matter of fact, I was going to do this as a dramatic read. Okay, please don't ask me to sing. Don't do that. Well, you already did, so why stop now?
The Brownings
Yes.
were to John and Yoko, they viewed themselves as the embodiment of the Brownings.
Yes.
Really thought of themselves as the reappearance of the Brownings and their
Incarnate. Right, exactly. Right.
They used to call each other Bob and Liz. The original album cover for Double Fantasy was both them, John dressed up as Robert and she dressed up as Liz.
Absolutely. Yes, I can see the analogy. I can see that their lives were parallel to a large degree in some regards. I mean, and in others, quite different. I mean, in some ways, the Lennons were the antithesis to the Brownings. Case in point, John was the famous one, and Yoko Ono was considered to be a bit of a social pariah to a large degree, and not necessarily the most popular of artists in comparison. Whereas with the Brownings, Elizabeth was the internationally respected artist, and Robert was the one who was considered to be not necessarily the most well-liked of artists. Right.
later in his life.
Oh, it's much later in his life, yes, absolutely.
But they both were the older woman, and it was a strong romantic period of time. Love showed their true color.
You just brought a smile to my face. No, okay, moving on. Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be. When our time has come, we will be as one. God bless our love. God bless our love. Grow old along with me. Two branches of one tree face the setting sun when the day is done. God bless our love. God bless our love. Spending our lives together, man and wife together. World without end, world without end. Grow old along with me, whatever fate decrees. We will see it through, for our love is true. God bless our love. God bless our love. Thank you. Among my fondest wishes, I wanted to grow old with my wife, the mother of my son. Unfortunately, a heart attack took her away from me. She was a brilliant writer. Beside that, she adored the Brownings. So with the greatest of humility, I'm going to share a couple of poems, or actually a few poems dedicated to her. Bear with me for 1 second. You wouldn't happen to have my book, would you?
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe I brought one. Just give me 1 moment, folks. By the way, James was kind enough to publish this book. A round of applause for James. You guys can do better than that. You guys can do a lot better than that. James does great work. Okay. I didn't expect screaming. Okay, but anyway, and in this book, I have a poem dedicated to her. I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
They're in a play and it's opening night tonight.
Oh,
And it starts at 4. As long as you be there by 3, we have time. 2:45.
2:45?
They don't-
Really?
They don't want to leave. We could stay. I mean, we can-
It's 2:06? Do you mind maybe another 10 minutes? 10 minutes?
No, please take your time.
Oh, thank you.
They can go back alone too. And
No,
they
I
can
mean, I
take
want,
their time.
if it's okay with you guys, I mean, provided it's all right, I would love to take a picture of you guys for Facebook. We can all, stand together. Is that okay with you? Awesome. And I'll promote your play if you don't mind. Okay? Listen, I have over 2,000 Facebook friends, and I had to think about that for a moment. Oh, you're into Facebook? Yeah, so am I for that matter. Anyway, and I can promote your work. Okay, so that's cool?
That's great.
Awesome sauce. Okay, cool. So just give me 1 moment. So this is dedicated to my wife. My mahogany muse, certain males try to malign and confine your sojourner truth mind. However you, sun hot with fire, burn your way free. My mahogany muse, once hellish hands exert their fervor to hurt, you become water and swan away. My mahogany muse, soon as injustice attempts to choke us, you become air that resuscitates with care. My mahogany muse, you are scripture on Sundays, giving the psalm from wealth-filled wisdom. You are my guidepost to utopia, providing angel-glazed rays. My mahogany muse, you prevent my descent each time I near the foolishness abyss. Blessedness is the bridge you built for us to cross. Thank you. Thank you. Because of the time considerations, I'm going to skip one of the pieces. No, it's okay. I want you guys to make your appointment. And I'm going to conclude, at least my portion of the program, with this particular poem. On the day of my wife's funeral, I wrote, "A window view to who we are." There is a love that is closer than closeness can be, deeper than the deepest skin pore, more purposeful than the heart, farther than the farthest part where the bones start, somewhere there within the marrow, never becoming fallow. You will see the most enduring part of me, which is my need for you. Thank you. I just want to say that throughout history, some of the greatest loves endured emotional blizzards, hurricanes of hostility, and a tsunami of sentiments. Somehow, in spite of the onslaught of emotional trepidations, love remained undaunted. Today, love poetry still communicates, telling us with each word despite environmental, racial, and terroristic problems, there is still human warmth. Even in a world of inexhaustible unpleasantness, there is still the beauty of love. And I love you all for taking the time to listen to me. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause. Bob McNeil, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, if we'd like to open it up now for questions for the speaker, that
Hold
would
on,
be
I
great.
want to save some time. Hold on, hold on 1 second. Okay. 1 second. No, please. Say one more moment. I am going to save you a lot of time on the Q&A section. All right, I'm going to answer all of your questions at once. I don't know. I will never know. And if I did know, I probably wouldn't tell you guys. So that saves a lot of time right there. Okay, so there's that. What I would prefer to do is take a picture with you guys. Yes.
I just want to remind you,
Yes.
thank you very much for coming and
Well,
speaking
thank you.
for us.
Really appreciate it.
It's been a great opportunity to have Bob McNeil. Let's give another round of applause for Bob McNeil.
Thank you. Thank you. Guys are great. Come on up, let's take a picture together. Can we get a picture for Facebook, guys? Okay, you gonna take it or I want you to stand next to me.